Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Mutahi Ngunyi made the big announcement that he was officially dumping Uhuru Kenyatta, a man he has supported for a long time, for William Samoei Arap Ruto. And what caught my attention is the fact that that announcement by Mutahi Ngunyi did not receive support from some of the key allies of William Samoei Arap Ruto. Why do you think some allies of William Ruto are not comfortable with Mutahi Ngunyi joining William Ruto's camp? Maybe you can let me know in the comment section. But in this video, I want us to do an analysis about this story. Uhuru Insider spills the bean on Raila Ruto. Mutahi Ngunyi reveals some details why Raila Odinga actually lost the election. When we talk of losing, we are not talking of the number of votes counted, but the fact that William Ruto was eventually declared the president of the Republic of Kenya. Now, let me just take you through first and second paragraph of this story. The story says, Uhuru Insider reveals Raila Ruto's secrets after defecting, in quote. It says, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's technical advisor Mutahi Ngunyi has opened up on never told before secrets of the Jubilee administration and what he describes as deep dysfunction of State House that saw the government's preferred successor, Raila Odinga, lose the 2022 general election. It says, Professor Ngunyi, the controversial political scientist who coined the phrase the tyranny of numbers in the lead up to the 2013 general election, in a tell-all interview, claims that he repeatedly warned Mr. Kenyatta that Odinga was facing possible defeat, but his concerns were dismissed. He claimed senior government officials in the security apparatus who were supposed to provide intelligence and logistical support to President Uhuru Kenyatta's preferred Azimio candidate took a casual approach to the campaign as they had no skin in the game, letting Kenya Kwanza win. So basically, Mutahi Ngunyi is revealing that Raila Odinga lost because he did not really receive the support of the deep state. So in this video, I just want to try and condense some of the points which I've picked from that interview by Mutahi Ngunyi. Because for me, if you ask me, Mutahi Ngunyi is not an ordinary Kenyan. This is a man who was a technical advisor to Uhuru Kenyatta. He was actually based at State House. Mutahi Ngunyi coined the tyranny of numbers, which was used to rig the 2013 election. Again, he's the one who coined the phrase, the hustler narrative. You never know, maybe it was the same trick. And the fact that he's that individual, one of the top political scientists in the country, I don't normally take his words for granted. Mutahi Ngunyi is alleging that he supports Uhuru Kenyatta, but he did not agree with him on Raila. So which means as a technical advisor, he supported Uhuru, but he never agreed with Uhuru supporting Raila. Number two, he's also saying that Uhuru actually had no option but to support Raila Odinga. Again, for those who've been following this channel, I've always opined severally that if Uhuru Kenyatta had other options, he would have gone for those options. And Uhuru Kenyatta's first option was Gideon Moi. The second option was Musalia Mudavadi. But of course, Gideon Moi was not featuring. So Uhuru Kenyatta really wanted Musalia Mudavadi. But Musalia Mudavadi being Musalia Mudavadi, there was no way he was going to be pushed. And of course, Mutahi Ngunyi is still saying that he is still a member of KANU, which means he joined Uhuru as a technical advisor. And in Ruto's government, that's exactly what he's also asking them. That for me, I don't want to come there as UDA. I want to come as KANU. But if there's work you want me to do, please, I am ready. But before you get into all those details, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to dive in. And by the way, before we dive in, you can also support this channel by buying me coffee using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing which Mutahi Ngunyi is suggesting, that Raila Odinga actually lost because of Uhuru Kenyatta's failure to campaign for Raila Odinga in Mount Kenya. Why do you think Uhuru Kenyatta did not campaign for Raila Odinga in Mount Kenya? For me, I opined on this platform severally that it was because of pure sabotage. William Ruto managed to penetrate Uhuru Kenyatta's camp. As much as Mutahi Ngunyi would want us to believe otherwise, the truth of the matter is that those people who are advising Uhuru Kenyatta were under the payroll of William Ruto. A case in point is Monica Joma. So there was no way Monica Joma would do things, would advise Uhuru Kenyatta, because Uhuru Kenyatta was listening to her, for example, which were going to affect William Ruto. So they came up with this story that Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of the Republic of Kenya and therefore should not be dragged to go into the ground. And that's how that failure by Uhuru Kenyatta to go into the ground enabled William Ruto to actually entrench himself in the mountain. Let me refresh your mind again on what I've always told you, that Uhuru Kenyatta did not really have what is called a deep state. And in fact, Mutahi Ngunyi is revealing, in Uhuru Kenyatta's government, there were deep states, yes, and I can mention them. There was Karanja Kibicho, there was Fred Matiang'i, there was Uhuru Kenyatta's brother, Muhoho, there was Nancy Gitau, there was several others we don't see their faces. But the truth is, those deep states were divided. There were those who believed that Uhuru should have supported William Ruto. This is where Monica Joma was and others. So these same people were the ones who were sabotaging Uhuru Kenyatta because they wanted Ruto to become the president. Then there was another group who believes that Uhuru ought to have supported a compromise candidate. And that candidate should not have been Raila Odinga. So where the compromise candidate, in most cases, they were preferring Musalia Mudavadi. And again, there was another group which believes very strongly that they just needed to support one of their own. And that's the group which was pushing for the candidature of Fred Matiang'i, deputized by the former cabinet secretary for health, Mutahi Kagwe. Then there was now the last group where Uhuru Kenyatta belonged, which believed that Raila Odinga was the best candidate because they had figured out that the other candidates could not defeat Ruto, that Raila Odinga only needed the support of the deep state. He had the numbers. So that's how the deep state failed to speak in one voice, and that's what led to Raila Odinga losing, in quotes, to the presidency. Of course, Raila Odinga lost because he failed. He refused to give Wafula Chebukati money, and Ruto gave Wafula Chebukati money. So that's number one. The second reason Mutahi Ngunyi is revealing, and for me, I'm doing this because I know for sure that William Ruto might also fall for the same problem, mistakes, and that Raila Odinga ought to have also learned from the same mistakes. Mutahi Ngunyi is suggesting that the deep state actually relaxed in their approach. That's the truth. And I was shocked when he talked of, at some point, asking Kibicho whether he knows whatever was happening. Kibicho told him, oh, he's not in touch with those managing the campaigns. How do you get into a campaign with the support of the deep state when the deep state is not in charge? How? Is it even possible? So the truth of the matter is that because of those four different types of deep state which I explained, there was sabotage. And these guys were relaxed in their approach. They believe that Raila Odinga has already won. Some were compromised. And for me, the fact that Raila Odinga relied on the deep state is why he lost. Raila Odinga believed that there was no way he was going to lose. So he knew Uhuru Kenyatta was in charge of the deep state. Unknown to him, Uhuru was not in charge of deep state. And sometimes, for me, and those who watched this channel during those period, I was very clear that Raila Odinga was headed for a victory. And indeed, he was headed for a victory. But I also saw something just before the elections. And for those who were on this channel by that time will bear me witness. The moment Johnson Sakaja was cleared to run for the presidency, I told Raila Odinga to forget about the presidency. Because there was no way Sakaja was going to be cleared to run for gubernatorial seat in Nairobi under that circumstance. Ruto knew what he wanted in Sakaja, why he needed Nairobi that badly. And Sakaja was the only candidate. But Sakaja did not meet certain requirements. But we saw Ruto defeating the deep state, or the deep state helping Ruto to clear Sakaja. And I'm on record as telling Raila Odinga that the fact that Sakaja had been cleared to contest for the gubernatorial seat, he ought to have forgotten about the presidency. They never listened. So it means their approach was relaxed. Number 3 is also saying that Raila Odinga was comfortable by the fact that this time around the deep state was supporting him. You know, I've always challenged people here because so many people always tell me that, Lee, they think and believe that Uhuru Kenyatta played Raila Odinga. I've always disagreed with that. Why? Because, you know, I was a bit following, I was following this campaign, and at least I was close to some of the people who are within that campaign of Raila Odinga, having worked with them before. And there was a mistake somewhere. Raila Odinga was the candidate. Uhuru Kenyatta provided Raila Odinga with everything he needed, whether money, you know, everything Raila needed for the campaign, Uhuru Kenyatta provided. But Uhuru Kenyatta was not running. The person who was running was none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. So there's no way you can say that Azimio did not have agents and you blame Uhuru. That ought to have been the work of Raila Amolo Odinga. The truth is, Raila Odinga believed that in the last 3 elections, 2007, 2013, 2017, he believed that he won those elections. But he was never declared because he lacked the deep state. And now that he had Uhuru in his corner, Raila Odinga was comfortable. That comfort is why this night I'm in Kisumu, not frying omen at State House. By the way, if Raila had won, I would have been somewhere, you know, around State House or Apple, you know. I would be wangenitafutia mahali, you know. These are guys I know. There's no way people like Junet, you know, would have left me out in the cold. That's I know for sure. There's no way I would ever text Raila and tell him, Baba, you know, sasa mimi watu wamenifukuza. I would be somewhere in the State House. In fact, most of you would be calling me, Lee, vitu zangu, you know, because of the comfort. These guys were comfortable. And Mutahi Ngunyi is also saying something here, which I also agree with him. Lack of teamwork. You know, Azimio was different political parties. And for example, at what stage did Kalonzo Musyoka come to openly and forcefully support Raila Odinga? Remember, he wanted to be the candidate. You know, he weighed things. Uhuru Kenyatta managed to hold him. But he really did not push the way he ought to have pushed. If you look at the outcome in Ukambani, the turnout was low. Why? Because the Ukambani people felt that Kalonzo ought to have been the candidate. And the fact that Kalonzo was not the candidate, then there was no need for them to turn out. So it would have taken the effort of Kalonzo to now go and concentrate on Ukambani to deliver those Ukambani votes. So many things happened. There was no teamwork. Even in Azimio, there's a way Jubilee and Azimio, there were no harmony, you know, a winning team. Like, for example, the way Ruto was able to manage Kenya Kwanza, you would tell, even when Kalonzo joined, I mean, when Mudavadi joined, when Wetangula joined, you know, they found their role and things were just moving for Azimio. And lastly, Azimio team was disorganized. Again, because this is not the end of the road, Raila Odinga can learn something from there. Kalonzo can learn, any other person. There was serious disorganization in Azimio to an extent that just a list of agents could not be provided on time. Just a mere list. You know you are going for an election and you know so well that elections will be determined at the polling station. Then agents are supposed to be there to monitor, to protect that your 1 or 2 votes. Then agents are not there because you want to rely on the governor. You want to rely on agent of the MP. A governor, an MP, an MCA will always just be fighting for their seats. You can't expect an MCA whose victory is being snatched away from him to defend the presidential vote. It has never happened. So the team was purely disorganized. Maybe because they never allowed me to serve in that team. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Let me know.